My daughter cut me off after the divorce, never hearing my side. 8 years later, she wants her inheritance. I laughed and told her to unblock me, and read the message I sent years ago. Hello, Reddit I+ here, my name is David Langston. I'm 56 years old now. And if you'd told me 8 years ago that I'd be writing this, not for sympathy, not for closure, but just to get it off my chest, I would have laughed in your face. I used to believe that time healed everything. It doesn't. Sometimes all it does is show you who really cared. 8 years ago, I went through a brutal divorce with my wife Marlene. We were married for over 20 years. She was 46 at the time and I was 48. We had a daughter together, Emma, who had just turned 20 when the divorce happened. And when the split came, Emma didn't hesitate. She picked a side, not mine. She blocked my number, refused to speak to me, and the last words she ever said to me before cutting me out were, "Mom said everything I need to know about you." I tried calling, messaging, even emailed. Once I stood outside her college dorm for hours, just to see if I could catch her walking out, just to see her face. She called security. The message was clear. Stay away. I was shattered. It wasn't just the divorce. It was the complete and sudden erasure of the one person I thought would at least ask why. But she never did. No questions, no room for my truth, just silence. The truth was Marlene Wu, a perfect narrative. One where I was the absent, selfish husband, too wrapped up in my construction work to care for my family. And yeah, I worked long hours, I was the only one bringing in money. Marlene stayed home raising Emma. I never minded. Hell, I was proud to be able to give them both that life. But when things got tense, when the fight started, it was easy for her to turn Emma against me. She had the stage, I was the villain. No trial, no jury, just judgment. For 8 years, I lived with that. I focused on work. I cared for my mother who was slipping away into Alzheimer's. She passed a year ago. She was the only family I had left. After the funeral, I stood alone in that cemetery. And it hit me. I had no one, not a single hand on my shoulder. No family, no daughter. So, when my phone rang 2 months ago, and I heard a hesitant female voice say, "Hi Dad," I almost dropped the phone. It was Emma. I hadn't heard her voice in almost a decade. I didn't even recognize it at first. So much older now. Softer, more careful. She said she saw a post online about her grandmother passing and wanted to check on me. I was stunned. I didn't even know she still followed anything about my life. I thanked her for calling, and I told her the truth, that I missed her more than words could say. She said she'd like to meet to talk. We agreed on dinner at my house the following Saturday. I cleaned the place up like it was going to be appraised by royalty. Cooked her favorite dish, shrimp Alfredo. I even bought flowers, not for her, but for my dining table, like it needed to look like I still had people in my life. She showed up on time. And when I opened the door and saw her for the first time in 8 years, it was like time collapsed. She looked like her mother. But there were flickers of the little girl I used to carry on my shoulders. I choked back tears and hugged her. Dinner went well. We talked like awkward friends, not like a father and daughter reunited, but I was grateful for the moment. I really was. And then I asked her the question that had lived in my throat for nearly a decade. Why? Why didn't you ever ask me for my side? She looked down, then said quietly, "I was scared. Mom said things and I believed them. I didn't know better. I guess I didn't want to know better." She apologized. She said she regretted everything, that she felt ashamed. I wanted to believe her. God, I really did, but I knew something was off. Eventually, the conversation turned. I asked her what made her reach out now. That's when she said it. She had gotten engaged a few months ago. Money was tight. She had been hoping the lawyers would contact her about Grandma's inheritance. When they didn't, she decided to reach out. I tried not to show anything, I just nodded. She said she felt awful asking. But since Grandma had told her years ago that she'd inherit everything as the only grandchild, she wanted to see if that was still true. "Anything you can give would help," she added with a nervous smile. "The wedding's going to be big, I really need help." And there it was, the knife in the back twisted slowly. I had dreamed of this moment, of seeing her again, hugging her again, being a father again. But the moment I realized I was just a wallet in her eyes, something inside me broke. I told her the inheritance had gone to me long ago. That Grandma changed the will, that I planned on using the money to start a small woodworking business. I added that out of my own pocket. I'd be willing to give her a few thousand for the wedding. Her face fell like a stone in a pond. "That's it," she said. "That's all I can offer," I replied. Her tone turned sharp. "Grandma told me I'd inherit everything. I was her only grandchild, and you were also the one who never visited her again after the divorce," I said calmly. She began to get angry. "You're proving everything Mom ever said about you," I laughed bitterly. "And you're proving everything I feared was true about why you came back." She stood up flustered. "This is unbelievable. I came here to reconnect and help plan my future, and you're being selfish." "No," I said, "you came here to see if there was a payday waiting for you." She stared at me speechless. And that's when I told her something that wiped the fake guilt from her face. "If you hadn't blocked me all those years ago, you would have received my texts. You would have known about your grandmother's illness. You could have seen her one last time. And maybe, just maybe, she would have kept her promise to you." She stood still shaken. "What texts?" she asked. "Unblock my number," I said. She did. And I forwarded every single one of them. The ones where I begged her to talk to me. The ones where I updated her about her grandma's condition. The one where I invited her to say goodbye before the funeral. Silence. Then she said, "I didn't know." "You didn't want to know."